We've all had those days. Those days where you want to conquer the world, but sometimes inspiration is hard to find, and distractions keep us from reaching our goals. Before you know it, you are scrolling through social media apps for entertainment, and after like 30 minutes, you hop out of bed and stumble to the kitchen to grab yourself a fresh cup of coffee. You start to work with the hope that this fresh cup of coffee helps you to get some inspiration and motivation to start your day productive. But instead, you get distracted again. You try to work, but all motivation and inspiration is gone. And before you know it, the day is over and you haven't done anything. But not for long, since today we break free from those obstacles. So let's start this day all over. I wake up, hop out of bed, do a 30-minute run, take a cold shower, and meditate for 30 minutes. Alright, this is just a typical self-improvement kind of bullshit, man. I don't do this first thing in the morning to stay productive. But how do we ensure that we actually do the work and don't get distracted? And more importantly, how do we do this on a consistent basis? Let me explain. You see, in my opinion, it's all based on knowing yourself, habits, and self-discipline. But first, Cal Newport introduced this concept called deep work. And according to him, this occurs when
you are focusing without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. If you are doing that activity, you are doing deep work.
So it means working on something that requires your full attention without context switches. Now, deep work is pretty hard, but it's the thing that really makes a difference. It helps you to get more stuff done with better quality, and it also helps you to improve your skills faster. But here's the thing. To get the most out of your deep work sessions, you need to know what kind of person you are. Some people work out and meditate first thing in the morning and follow it up with a deep work session, and that works for them. But everyone's different. For me, starting mornings like that doesn't work. In the morning I'm most sharp and I want to take advantage of that right away. So I don't work out or meditate in the morning. Instead, the first thing I do is deep work. Now for others it can be really powerful to work out, meditate and then do the deep work, but that doesn't work for me. Some people even enjoy deep work in the afternoon or evenings instead of the mornings. So the first step is to figure out what kind of person you are and what's the best time for you to do deep work. Now most people have their peak performing hours in the morning, but it can still vary from person to person. Therefore, the most important thing is to find out what's the best time for you to do deep work and plan your other activities around that. So for instance, let's say that 8 AM is the best time for you to do deep work. Then you should not go to the gym at that time or do other tasks that require less concentration. At 8 AM, you should do deep work. But unfortunately, it isn't that simple. I mean, in today's world, there are so many distractions. Hey yo bro, have you seen this video? Come on, man. I'm in the middle of a recording. Oh. Sorry. So, we simply need to remove these distractions as much as possible so we can make procrastinating as hard as possible. Now for me this means say goodbye to my phone and drop that thing in the living room. And if my girlfriend is home, I tell her that I'm doing a deep work session so she won't interrupt me during that time. But there is more. You should create a routine and rituals around your deep work sessions. This is something that I learned from the book Deep Work, where Cal Newport explains that the key to developing a deep work habit is to move beyond good intentions and add routines and rituals to your working life. So for me, the routine is simple. I start with a deep work session every workday in my home office right after waking up. And as a ritual, I enjoy a nice cup of coffee during this deep work session. Now, I also noticed that it is very tempting to do this deep work session on the couch in the living room, but I experienced that I couldn't really focus that good and that I was distracted more easily. So a deep work session in my home office without a phone and a nice cup of coffee simply works best for me. Now there is more. And this is nicely explained in these two books. By doing the exact same routine and rituals again and again, your brain starts to connect it with your deep work activity. This way you make it easier to get in the right mindset and stay on track, because you are basically telling your mind, hey, let's cut the crap, it's time to go into focus mode now. And the more consistent you are with this, the more automatic it becomes. It's like going on autopilot for deep work. But still, you know, there are always days where you don't feel like it and you must rely on self-discipline. Now, what helps me is having a plan. Before going to bed, I make a list of the things that need to be done the next day. Writing things down is super helpful because it gives me a clear idea of what I need to do. And even more important, the next morning it costs me less energy because I simply start with the first thing that's on my to-do list. Now I don't overthink it, I just start. Now I know that the best thing is to write it down, but I want to be honest with you, I don't do this every evening because sometimes, you know, I'm just too lazy and it feels a bit like an overkill, especially if I only want to do one thing for the next day. So let's say I want to create just one video script, then I don't write it down, I just do it. But writing down definitely helps me. Alright, that was it. These are the tips that help me to be productive and I hope they also help you. Now if you liked the video, then please subscribe. I need your support, man. And I see you in the next video. Cheers!